Let's talk about nature. Nature's the second thing. Well, that just looks terrible all blown up. It looks really nice on my computer. So, nature is actually another way of us reducing stress chemicals within our own body, and it's free. And nature is linked to nutrition. And that's why I've got notes here. I've got a few stats and things for you, and I never trust people who quote statistics of things without something written down in front of them. It's like that whole, well, 42% of all stats are made up on the spot. 83% of people know that, right? So there was a 2011 study from McGill University, and I'm quoting this from an article printed in Appetite magazine, and it indicates that, and I'm going to quote because the wording is interesting, the craving for highly palatable, nature-deprived foods, junk food, right, can be cut off by visualizing scenes or being in nature. What does that actually mean? It means that being outside or even looking at being outside makes you eat less junk. How cool is that? You can trick your brain into eating less junk just by looking at a forest scene. There's actually a whole new field that's really kind of come into light in the last few years. They call it eco-psychiatry. And it's the benefits of nature on mental wellness. I have a book called Your Brain on Nature, and it was written by Eva M. Selup and Alan C. Logan. And if you read through that, they'll show you just study after study after study after study that shows that being in nature lowers stress, improves cognitive function, and decision making. That it makes exercise more effective. They call being in nature exercise squared. So if you're only able to get out for a few minutes of a walk, for instance, for your form of exercise, do it outside in the forest somewhere, and it's actually much more effective than walking down your street. And they actually also say that it is 20 to 30% more effective for the treatment of depression in certain scenarios than medication. We're not talking about just 20 to 30% more effective than doing nothing, more effective than the drugs that are being prescribed for depression. That's amazing when you stop and think about it. So something else that we can do, here's another lovely nature scene. Does it make you feel calm? Let's just be calm for a second. Can everyone see it? There we go. Because the third thing that we can do to help with our stress is to unplug. Do you go on your phone, or does your phone go on you, right? Computers were supposed to create this massive leisure class. If you read the stuff from the 50s where they were really talking about computers being in homes and in offices, it was supposed to give us all a 15-hour work week. It was, right? It was supposed to take all of the basic jobs away from people. People weren't concerned about this. And it was going to revolutionize all of our industry, and it has. I mean, computers have made a huge difference in what we do. Has it shortened your work week, though? No, because now you're not only expected to be at work on your 9 to 5, but you're also expected to check your email in the evening, to return your boss's text messages, you know, all of those kind of things, right? We are plugged in all the time. We've actually extended our work day by 2 to 3 hours on average. We don't even take lunches anymore. We sit and check email, right? So this is something that you can do to help reduce your stress. In 1999, so we're talking 15 years ago, what was considered problem computer usage, so the kind of computer usage that they figured was likely to lead to like anxiety and depression and pathological behaviors, was 27 hours per week. I'm not making this stuff up. Yeah. So, anybody pathological? Last year they did a Canadian survey of kids. This is kids in grades 6 through 12. And they look at how much screen time they take in between TV, computers, and personal devices. And they're averaging 8 hours a day. Wow. So they're doubling what's considered a pathological level of screen time. I mean, our advisories for screen time for kids in this age are still 2 to 3 hours per day. right? That's huge, and you have to remember, 8 is the average. There are some kids out there that are basically on their, 10, 12, 13, 14 hours a day? That's insane, right? So we have this techno overload, nature withdrawal, and poor nutrition, and these things are not isolated from each other. Spending time in front of the screen also increases our intake of high energy, low nutrient food and beverages, right? Again, do we sit with a big bowl of broccoli in front of the movie? No, we do not, right? We don't snack on healthy foods when we're in front of screens. And we aren't aware of what we're eating when we're in front of screens. Because I know that I can't be the only one who's taken that bag of kettle chips. And you sit down to watch something, and suddenly it's like, the bag's all gone. Who ate that? When we're not aware of what we're eating, we tend to eat a lot more of it as well. So these things are all linked together. If you're on your screens, you're not outside enjoying nature and de-stressing. If you're doing this, you're not eating well. And so these are all things that we can do just to kind of keep ourselves a little bit more regulated. The most important thing, though, that I would say with the screen time is unplug before bed. Your pineal gland makes melatonin, which is what lets you sleep, right? How does your pineal gland know it's nighttime? It gets dark. So if you're like on your laptop or on your tablet or on your phone, in the half hour to an hour before you're trying to go to bed, your brain hasn't made any melatonin for you. You're not sleepy, so you tend to stay up later in the first place, right? And then you go to bed, and your brain's like, is it night? What? And so then it starts making melatonin for you, and it takes an hour for it to figure out that that's what you're doing. So you lay there, and your brain thinks about all the stress from the day, and you start working in your head again. Again, we're creating vicious cycles, right? So even if you can't be away from your devices for time through the day, just really making sure that you unplug in that little bit of time before bed is going to be really important, okay?